Welcome to a deep dive into Planet Labs PBC.
Oh, yeah.
This is the company aiming to make a difference using technology in space.
Mm-hmm.
They actually image the entire planet every day.
Every day.
Yeah, with their satellite fleet.
Yeah.
And you might be thinking, okay,
Yeah.
cool pictures from space.
Right.
But what's the big deal?
Yeah, what is the big deal?
That's what we're here to unpack.
Exactly.
We've got their recent Q3 2024 Form 10Q filing.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's going to help us understand not just their financials, but how they're trying to build a sustainable business around this really ambitious mission.
Yeah, so I think what's so fascinating about this is the sheer amount of data they're gathering, right? I mean, it's not just pretty pictures.
Right.
It's a constantly updating view of our entire planet.
Yeah.
It's giving us a real-time pulse on what's happening on the ground.
Yeah, it's, when you think about it,
Yeah,
it's mind-blowing.
it is.
So how do they actually make money from this? I
Yeah.
mean, launching and maintaining satellites
Uh-huh.
can't be cheap.
Right. It's a massive undertaking.
Yeah.
So their primary revenue stream comes from licensing access to their imagery and analytics.
Okay.
It's like a subscription service.
Yeah.
But instead of movies or music, you're getting a front row seat to the changing planet.
Yeah.
And they're not just targeting scientists or researchers.
Right.
They've got this land and expand strategy
Okay.
where they attract customers with basic services
Mm-hmm.
and then offer them more specialized tools and wider coverage as their needs grow.
So they're casting a wide net, trying to hook different types of customers.
Yeah.
So who are they targeting exactly?
Well, it's a surprisingly diverse mix.
Okay.
You've got large commercial entities like agricultural companies
Uh-huh.
who want to monitor crop health,
Okay.
energy companies looking at pipeline infrastructure,
Yeah.
even financial institutions assessing risk.
Right.
And then you've got government agencies at all levels,
Oh, wow.
from federal agencies monitoring things like deforestation to local governments managing urban planning.
So their data is valuable to a whole lot of different players.
Absolutely.
And I guess that diverse customer base helps keep the revenue flowing.
Exactly. It's key for stability.
Yeah.
But it also speaks to the potential impact of their data.
Right.
I mean, imagine if everyone from farmers making decisions about their crops
Mm-hmm.
to policymakers addressing global issues had access to this kind of real-time information.
All right, let's dig into those numbers.
Okay.
From their Q3 filing.
All right.
They reported 11% revenue growth
That's pretty good.
for the quarter, which sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
Is that just new customers signing up, or are existing customers sticking around too?
It's both,
Okay.
which is a good sign.
Yeah.
They're bringing in new business, but they're also doing a great job at keeping those existing customers happy
Mm.
and even expanding their contracts.
Okay.
In fact, their average contract length is around 2 years.
2 years.
2 years.
That's a pretty strong commitment,
It is.
isn't it? It sounds like they're building real partnerships rather than just quick transactions.
Absolutely. And it gets even better when you look at their net dollar retention rate,
Oh, here we go.
which sits at a steady 104%.
All right, I have to admit,
Yeah.
some of these financial terms
Mm-hmm.
can be a bit jargony for me.
Sure.
What does that 104% actually tell us?
Okay, so think of it this way.
Okay.
It means they're not just holding on to their existing customers.
Uh-huh.
They're actually generating more revenue from them over time.
Oh, okay.
It's a great indicator of a healthy subscription-based business.
Yeah.
Customers are clearly finding enough value to not only stick around,
Right.
but also invest more in Planet services.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
It's like a vote of confidence
Mhm.
from the people actually using their data.
Exactly.
So things are looking pretty rosy, right?
Yeah.
But I do remember hearing something about them operating at a loss.
That's true. They're still not profitable.
Okay.
But that's not necessarily a red flag,
Right.
especially for a company investing heavily in growth.
Yeah.
I mean, they're pouring resources into developing new sensor technologies to capture even more data from space,
Uh-huh.
enhancing their machine learning capabilities to make that data easier to analyze,
Right.
and building a platform ecosystem to encourage even wider use of their information.
It sounds like they're playing the long game here.
Yeah.
Betting big on the future value of their data.
Exactly. They're
Yeah.
essentially building the infrastructure now
Right.
for what they believe will be a massive market for Earth observation data in the future.
Speaking of big bets,
Uh-huh.
there's one player we need to talk about: Google.
Okay, yeah.
They're a major shareholder in Planet,
Mm-hmm.
owning over 10% of the company.
Right.
And their relationship goes beyond just investment, right?
Yeah.
They've been partners in different ways,
Yeah.
from licensing content to providing hosting services.
Absolutely. And this relationship is particularly interesting
Yeah.
because Google is also a competitor in the satellite imagery space.
Oh, wow.
They have their own platforms and are investing heavily in Earth observation technology.
So it's a bit of a tangled web, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Google is both a partner and a potential rival.
That's right.
That's got to create some interesting dynamics, to say the least.
Absolutely. It's something to keep an eye on
Yeah.
as we try to understand where Planet is headed.
Now let's get back to those financials for a moment.
Okay.
I noticed they use some of those non-GAAP metrics like adjusted EBIT.
Mm-hmm.
Why do they do that? Is it just to make their numbers look better?
Well, it's a bit more nuanced than that.
Okay.
Adjusted EBITDA helps provide a clearer picture of their core operational performance
Mm-hmm.
by excluding certain costs that might not be directly related to their day-to-day business.
Uh-huh.
It allows investors to compare their performance to other companies in a more standardized way.
So it's like looking under the hood
Yeah,
to get a better sense of how the engine's running,
right.
rather than just focusing on the shiny exterior.
Exactly. And while they're working towards profitability, they have relied on external financing in the past to fuel their growth.
Right.
They've raised capital through equity offerings and credit facilities,
Mm-hmm.
and their filings indicate they'll likely need to secure additional financing in the future.
So they're being upfront about the need for more investment to keep this rocket ship going.
That's right.
What should investors be watching for in the coming quarters to gauge their financial health?
Well, there are a few key things to keep in mind.
Okay.
First, they'll need to continue demonstrating strong revenue growth.
Hmm.
Investors want to see that their land and expand strategy is working
Yeah.
and that they're capturing a bigger slice of the Earth observation market.
Okay.
Second, they need to show progress towards profitability,
Right.
even if it's incremental.
Yeah.
Cost management and improving margins will be key.
So it's all about finding that balance between ambitious growth and responsible financial management.
Exactly. It's a tightrope walk for sure,
Yeah.
but they seem to be navigating it pretty well so far.
They've got a lot of eyes on them, that's for sure.
They do.
But their mission is certainly compelling.
It is.
And their technology has the potential to change how we understand and manage our planet.
Absolutely.
All right, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
Yeah.
Their mission, their business model, those intriguing financials, and that unique relationship with Google.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's dive deeper into their Q3 2024 performance
Okay.
and see what specific details we can uncover.
Let's do it. We'll see how their actual numbers stack up against their ambitious goals. Okay, so let's break down some of these key figures from their Q3.
Okay.
They pulled in $61,256,000 in revenue for the quarter.
Wow.
That's a solid jump from the $65,280,000 they brought in during the same period last year.
That's a pretty impressive leap.
It is.
Did that growth come from just one area?
That's what's interesting.
Or were there multiple drivers?
Yeah, the growth wasn't concentrated in any single sector. They saw expansion across a range of areas, from civil government contracts to deals with defense and intelligence agencies, even the commercial sector.
So their data is proving valuable across a variety of different fields.
Yeah,
It's not just about monitoring forests or tracking agriculture anymore.
exactly. And remember that net dollar retention rate we talked about,
Yeah.
the one that shows how well they're keeping existing customers and growing those relationships.
Yeah.
Well, it held strong at 104% for the 9-month period ending in October.
Okay.
It's a clear sign that their customers are seeing the value in what Planet is offering
Yeah.
and are coming back for more.
That's encouraging, especially given their ambitious goals.
Yeah.
But let's address the elephant in the room.
Okay.
Planet Labs is still operating at a loss.
Right.
For the 9 months ending in October 2024, they posted a net loss of $88,042,000.
Yeah.
As an investor, that would definitely give me pause.
Yeah. It's understandable to have concerns about profitability.
Right.
Especially when you see those kinds of numbers.
Yeah.
But remember, they're still in a growth phase.
Okay.
They're making big investments in R&D, new technologies, and expanding their customer base.
Right.
It's like building a rocket.
Yeah.
You need a lot of fuel up front to get off the ground.
That's a good analogy.
Yeah.
But they did announce a headcount reduction earlier this year.
Yeah.
Does that signal trouble ahead?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
They framed it as a strategic move to improve efficiency and make sure their resources are aligned with their long-term goals.
Okay.
Sometimes you need to trim back in certain areas
Right.
to ensure you're on the most efficient path to success.
So it's more about optimizing their operations rather than a sign of panic.
Exactly. Think of it as a course correction.
Okay.
Making sure they're flying in the right direction.
That makes sense. So with all that in mind, What's next on the horizon for Planet Labs?
Yeah.
What are their big plans for the future?
Their filing reveals some pretty exciting investment plans.
Okay.
They're talking about developing new sensor technologies that can capture even more types of data from space.
Okay.
Imagine being able to see things like soil moisture levels
Oh, wow.
or underground water resources.
That would be incredible.
The possibilities are pretty mind-blowing.
Yeah. So not just pretty pictures,
Yeah.
but real actionable data
Yes.
that can help us understand the planet in even greater detail.
Precisely. And they're not stopping there.
Okay.
They're also pouring resources into developing even more powerful machine learning and analytics capabilities.
So they're not just collecting the data.
Right.
They're making it easier to understand and use.
Exactly.
It's like having a superpowered Google Earth
That's a great way to put it.
that can analyze the data for you and tell you what it all means.
And here's another cool initiative.
Okay.
They're working on building a platform ecosystem that will allow third-party developers
Okay.
to create applications using Planet Labs data.
So they're opening up their data treasure chests
Yes.
and letting others build on it.
Mhm.
It's a pretty bold move, isn't it?
It is. It opens up a whole new world of possibilities for using their data,
Yeah.
far beyond what they could do on their own.
Okay.
Imagine a whole marketplace of apps built on Planet Labs imagery.
Right.
Everything from precision agriculture tools that help farmers optimize their crops to disaster response platforms that can assist with relief efforts after natural disasters.
It's like turning their data into a public utility,
Yeah,
empowering others to innovate and create solutions to global challenges.
exactly.
That's pretty inspiring.
It is.
But let's circle back to that complex relationship with Google for a moment.
Okay.
It's not every day you see a competitor owning such a large stake in a company.
Right.
What are the potential benefits and risks there?
Well, it's definitely a tightrope walk.
Huh.
On the one hand,
Mhm.
Google's investment brings valuable resources, technical expertise, and a vast network.
Yeah.
That can be a huge boost for a company like Planet Labs.
Right.
On the other hand, they have to be wary of becoming too dependent on a company that's also a potential rival.
Right.
They need to maintain their independence and chart their own course.
It's like they're dancing with a giant, isn't it?
It is.
They need to find the right balance between leveraging Google's strengths
Yeah,
and maintaining their own unique identity.
exactly. And it's a dynamic that will continue to evolve
Yeah.
as both companies grow and expand their ambitions in the Earth observation space.
Okay, we've talked a lot about Planet Labs' vision and their investment plans, but how are they actually going to fund all of this?
Right.
Their filing sheds some light on their current cash position
Okay.
and their plans for future financing.
Yep.
As of October 31st, 2024, they had $149,931,000 in cash and cash equivalents.
Okay.
That sounds like a decent chunk of change,
Yeah.
but is it enough to fuel their ambitious plans?
It's a healthy starting point.
Okay.
But they've been transparent about the fact that they'll need to seek additional financing in the future to fully realize their goals.
Okay.
They're not shying away from the fact that they'll need more fuel to reach those ambitious heights.
So what does that mean for investors?
Right.
Should they be worried?
It's not necessarily a cause for alarm.
Okay.
It's actually a sign of responsible financial management.
Okay.
They're being proactive in planning for their future funding needs and exploring various options, including debt financing, equity offerings, and strategic partnerships.
So they're not putting all their eggs in one basket.
Exactly. They're playing the long game,
Yeah.
and they're being transparent about their need for additional capital to reach their destination.
Now, no business is without its risks.
Right.
What are some of the things that could potentially throw a wrench into Planet Labs' plans?
Well, the competition in the satellite imagery space is heating up.
Okay.
There are other companies out there with their own constellations of Earth-observing satellites, and they're all vying for the same customers.
It's a space race of a different kind.
Exactly.
Everyone wants to be the go-to source for this valuable data.
And there's always the risk that their technology could become obsolete, or that they fail to keep up with the rapidly evolving demands of their customers.
Wow.
The world of technology moves fast,
Yeah.
and they need to stay ahead of the curve.
It's like they're on a treadmill that keeps getting faster.
Yeah.
They can't afford to stand still for too long.
And let's not forget the regulatory environment.
Right.
The rules and regulations surrounding satellite imagery and data privacy are constantly changing,
Yeah.
and Planet Labs has to be nimble enough to adapt and comply.
They're navigating uncharted territory in many ways,
Yeah.
which is both exciting and potentially risky.
It is.
They need to be both bold and careful as they chart their course.
Precisely. It's a delicate balancing act.
Yeah.
But they seem to be aware of the challenges
Right.
and are taking steps to mitigate the risks.
All right, so we've talked about the risk.
Yeah.
Now let's dig into some of the key financial metrics they use to track their performance.
Okay.
We've already talked about net dollar retention rate, but there are others that are worth exploring.
Yeah, one that's particularly insightful
Is their ACV Book of Business,
Okay.
which represents the annual value of all their active contracts at a specific point in time.
Mm-hmm.
As of October 31st, 2024, their ACV Book of Business was $235,200,000.
Wow. That's a pretty substantial number.
It is.
It sounds like they've built up a solid base of recurring revenue.
It is, and to give you even more context, their backlog,
Okay.
which includes both remaining performance obligations from existing contracts and the cancelable portion of certain contracts,
Okay.
was even higher at $300,200,000.
So they have a significant pipeline of future revenue already in place.
Yeah.
Even if some contracts are subject to cancellation, that's a good sign, right?
Definitely, it shows they're not just relying on new customer acquisitions.
Mm-hmm.
They've also locked in a substantial amount of future business from their existing customer base.
Okay, let's break down their revenue by customer type.
Yeah.
Their filing shows that for the 9 months ending in October 2024, their government vertical brought in a whopping $107,600,000.
That's a huge chunk of their revenue.
Yeah, it is.
Meanwhile, their commercial vertical contributed a respectable $75,200,000.
This breakdown is interesting because it shows that they're not overly reliant on any single customer segment.
Right.
That diversification is a good sign for their long-term stability.
Mm-hmm.
It's like having a balanced portfolio.
Yeah,
It helps mitigate risk if one area experiences a downturn.
that makes sense. So they're not putting all their eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
They're spreading their bets across different types of customers,
Right.
which makes them more resilient to market fluctuations.
Exactly.
But it's not just about revenue.
Right.
It's also about how efficiently they're generating that revenue.
Yeah.
Let's talk about their gross margin.
Okay, their gross margin for the 9 month ending in October 2024 was 56%,
Okay.
which is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
It means that for every dollar of revenue they generate,
Uh-huh.
they're keeping 56 cents after accounting for the direct costs of providing their services.
That's a healthy margin.
It is.
It shows they're keeping their costs under control
Mm-hmm.
and are generating a decent profit on each sale.
Exactly, and it's a positive sign,
Yeah.
especially for a company that's still investing heavily in growth.
Right.
But of course, gross margin doesn't tell the whole story.
Right.
We also need to consider their operating expenses.
Right. Those are the costs associated with running the business, like R&D,
Yeah,
sales and marketing, and general administrative expenses.
precisely. And for the 9 months ending in October 2024, their total operating expenses were a hefty $198,266,000.
Whoa, that's a big number.
Yeah,
No wonder they're not profitable yet.
right.
But I guess it makes sense given all the investments they're making in growth and innovation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're spending a lot of money to build a foundation for future success.
Yeah.
It's a classic growth versus profitability trade-off.
So let's break down those operating expenses a bit further.
Okay.
One major area is R&D,
Right.
which is essential for any tech company that wants to stay ahead of the curve. For the 9 months ending in October 2024, they poured $78,055,000 into research and development.
That's a significant investment.
Yeah.
But it's also a sign that they're serious about innovation.
Okay.
They're constantly working to improve their satellite sensors, enhance the data processing capabilities, and develop new technologies that can capture even more valuable information about our planet.
So they're not content with just resting on their laurels.
Right.
They're pushing the boundaries of what's possible with Earth observation technology.
Exactly. And that kind of commitment to innovation is crucial in a rapidly evolving field like this.
Yeah.
They need to stay ahead of the curve to maintain their competitive edge.
Now let's shift our focus to another major area of operating expenses, sales and marketing.
Okay.
After all, even the most amazing technology won't sell itself.
Right.
They need to get the word out and convince potential customers that Planet Labs' data is worth the investment.
Absolutely. For the 9 months ending in October 2024, they spent $62,013,000 on sales and marketing efforts.
That's a substantial chunk of change.
It is.
What are they doing with all that money?
Well, they're building a global sales team,
Uh-huh.
attending industry conferences, running targeted marketing campaigns, and investing in building their brand awareness.
Right.
They need to reach a wide audience
Hmm.
and convince decision makers across a range of industries that their data can help them solve problems and achieve their goals.
So they're not just sitting back and hoping customers will come to them.
Right.
They're actively going out and making the case for their data.
Exactly. And in a competitive market like this,
Yeah.
that kind of proactive approach is essential for success.
Now let's talk about the final piece of the operating expense puzzle,
Okay.
general and administrative costs.
Right.
This is where you find things like salaries for executives and administrative staff, legal fees, and other overhead expenses.
These costs are often overlooked.
Yeah.
But they're essential for keeping the business running smoothly.
Hmm.
And for the 9 months ending in October 2024, Planet Labs spent $58,198,000 on general and administrative expenses.
That's a pretty big number, but I guess it's to be expected for a company of their size and complexity.
Yeah,
They have offices around the world, a large workforce, and complex operations to manage.
exactly. And they're also investing in building out their management team, strengthening their IT infrastructure, and putting in place the systems and processes needed to support their growth and expansion.
So they're not just throwing money at problems.
Right.
They're making strategic investments in the infrastructure and systems that will enable them to scale their business effectively.
Exactly. They're laying the groundwork for future growth and profitability.
Okay, so we've dissected their operating expenses now.
Okay.
Let's revisit that question of profitability.
Okay.
How are they going to get there?
Well, their filing emphasizes their belief that their investments in technology data and market expansion will eventually lead to a sustainable and profitable business.
So they're betting on the increasing value of their data
Yeah,
and the growing demand for it across a wide range of industries.
precisely. They're aiming to become the go-to source for Earth observation data.
Okay. And they're confident that their unique capabilities and innovative approach will give them a competitive edge.
It's a bold vision,
It is.
and one that will require both strategic execution and a bit of luck.
A little bit of luck never hurts.
Now, what are some of the key things that investors should be watching for in the coming quarters?
Okay.
What are the indicators that Planet Labs is on track to achieve its goals?
Well, there are a few key metrics to keep in mind.
Okay.
First and foremost, revenue growth.
Yeah.
They need to continue demonstrating strong top-line growth to justify their aggressive investments and convince investors that their strategy is working.
Okay.
They're aiming to become a major force in the Earth observation industry, and continued revenue growth will be a key indicator of their progress towards that goal.
So continued growth is crucial. What else should investors be paying attention to?
Profitability, or at least progress towards profitability.
Okay.
While they're currently operating at a loss, investors will want to see signs that their operating expenses are starting to level off.
And that their gross margins are expanding.
Yeah.
They need to demonstrate that they're on a path to sustainable profitability, even if it takes some time.
So it's not just about growing revenue. It's about doing so in a way that leads to profitability in the long run.
Exactly.
They need to show they can translate that top-line growth into a healthy bottom line.
And another key factor to watch is their cash position.
Okay.
They'll need to carefully manage their cash flow to ensure they have enough runway to fund their growth plans without having to raise capital on unfavorable terms.
So they need to be smart about how they spend their money
Yeah.
and make sure they have enough in the bank to weather any storms that might come their way.
Exactly. It's all about finding that balance between investing for growth and managing their finances responsibly.
All right, so we've talked about the key metrics to watch. Now let's zoom out for a moment
Okay.
and consider the bigger picture.
Okay.
What's the potential impact of Planet Labs' mission?
Right.
How could their data change the world?
That's where things get really exciting. Imagine a world where we can track deforestation in real time, monitor agricultural yields with unprecedented precision,
Right.
and respond to natural disasters with greater speed and efficiency.
And it's not just about reacting to problems.
Right.
It's also about proactively addressing them.
Precisely. Planet Labs' data could help us better understand the impacts of climate change, manage our natural resources more sustainably, and even predict and prevent future crises.
It's a powerful tool for positive change,
Yeah.
and one that has the potential to transform how we understand and interact with our planet.
It's a truly inspiring vision,
It is.
and one that I'm personally excited to see unfold.
Now let's dive deeper into their efforts to improve efficiency and streamline operations.
Okay.
Back in June 2024, they announced a headcount reduction.
Right.
This was a tough but strategic move aimed at aligning their resources with their long-term vision. It's never easy to let people go,
No, it's not.
but sometimes it's necessary to ensure the long-term health of business.
Absolutely. And it's a decision that demonstrates their commitment to operational excellence
Hmm?
and their willingness to make difficult choices to ensure they're on the most efficient path to achieving your goals.
Okay.
Sometimes you need to trim the sails to navigate choppy waters.
And the impact of this headcount reduction is already evident in their financials.
Oh, okay.
Their sales and marketing expenses for the 3 months ending in October 2024 decreased by $4 million compared to the same period last year.
That reduction in expenses is a positive sign, showing that they're taking concrete steps to streamline their operations and improve their bottom line.
Okay.
It's a clear indication that they're not just focused on growing revenue, but also on doing so in a sustainable and profitable way.
It's all about finding that delicate balance between ambition and financial discipline, isn't it?
Exactly. They need to be bold in their vision,
Yeah.
but also pragmatic in their execution.
Now let's talk about another key element of their financial strategy, their relationship with Google. Google is not just a major shareholder in Planet Labs,
Right.
but also a significant customer.
Yeah.
In some ways, a competitor.
Yeah.
It's a complex relationship that presents both opportunities and challenges.
Absolutely. They need to carefully navigate the dynamics of this relationship, leveraging Google's resources and expertise,
Right.
while also maintaining their own independence and strategic direction.
It's like walking a tightrope, isn't it?
It is.
They need to find the right balance between collaboration and competition.
Exactly. And it will be fascinating to see how this relationship evolves
Yeah.
as both companies continue to grow and innovate in the Earth observation space.
Now, speaking of collaboration,
Yeah.
Planet Labs has also been actively engaging with other companies and organizations
Right.
to expand the reach and impact of their data.
Mm-hmm.
They're recognizing that they can't do it all alone.
That's right. They need to partner with others to unlock the full potential of their data
Yeah.
and create a truly global ecosystem of Earth observation solutions. By working with companies and organizations that have expertise in specific industries or regions, they can leverage their data to address a wider range of challenges and opportunities.
So they're building a coalition of the willing,
Yeah.
bringing together diverse stakeholders who share a common goal of using Earth observation data to make a positive impact on the world.
Exactly. It's about creating a collaborative network that can harness the power of this data for good.
Now let's turn our attention to their plans for future financing.
Okay.
They've been transparent about the fact that they will need to seek additional funding to
Right.
support their ambitious growth plans.
Yes. And they're being proactive in planning for their future funding needs,
Okay.
which gives investors confidence that they're taking the necessary steps to ensure their long-term financial stability.
So they're not just hoping for the best.
Yeah.
They're actively exploring a range of financing options,
Yeah.
including debt financing, equity offerings, and strategic partnerships to make sure they have the resources they need to execute their vision.
Exactly. They're taking a multifaceted approach to funding their growth,
Right.
which makes them less reliant on any single source of capital.
Now let's talk about one of the most fascinating aspects of Planet Labs' business model, their land and expand strategy.
Oh.
It's a proven approach in the software as a service world.
Right.
And Planet Labs is applying it effectively to the realm of Earth observation data.
It's all about getting customers hooked on the basic value proposition
Yeah.
and then gradually expanding the scope of their engagement,
Okay.
leading to deeper integration and higher revenue.
So they're starting with a simple offering
Right.
and then gradually layering on more sophisticated features and services as their customers' needs grow.
Exactly. And it's a strategy that's clearly working.
Yeah.
Their average contract length of 2 years
Right.
is a testament to their ability to build strong, long-lasting customer relationships. They're not just selling data. They're building partnerships based on trust value and a shared commitment to using Earth observation data to make a positive impact.
It's a win-win approach
Absolutely.
and one that's driving both their financial success and their positive impact on the world.
It's a great example of how a company can align its business goals with its mission to make a difference.
Okay, so we've talked about the land and expand strategy at a high level.
Right.
Now let's dive into some of the specific ways they're executing it.
Okay.
One key element is their focus on providing not just raw data,
Right.
but also insights and analytics that make that data easier to understand and use.
Yeah.
They're recognizing that most customers don't want to be data scientists.
Right.
They want actionable insights that can help them make better decisions.
Exactly. They're investing heavily in developing machine learning algorithms, data visualization tools, and other analytical capabilities that can turn raw data into meaningful information.
Right.
They're making it easier for customers to extract value from their data and integrate it into their existing workflows.
So they're not just handing over a fire hose of data and saying, good luck figuring it out.
Right.
They're providing the tools and insights that help customers make sense of it all
Yeah.
and turn it into something actionable.
Precisely, and that's a key part of their land and expand strategy.
Okay.
Once customers see the value of these insights,
Right.
they're more likely to upgrade to more sophisticated tools and wider coverage, leading to increased revenue for Planet Labs.
It's a virtuous cycle,
Yeah,
and one that's driving their growth and expanding the impact of their data.
absolutely. It's about creating a win-win scenario for both Planet Labs and their customers.
Now let's shift our focus to another key aspect of their land and expand strategy, their platform ecosystem.
Oh,
They're actively encouraging third-party developers to create applications using their data, essentially opening up their platform to a wider world of innovation.
this is a smart move for several reasons.
Okay.
It expands the reach and impact of their data far beyond what they could achieve on their own. They're tapping into the creativity and expertise of a vast network of developers who can come up with innovative ways to use their data that they might never have thought of themselves.
This is like crowdsourcing innovation, isn't
It
it?
is.
They're creating a marketplace of ideas where developers can experiment with their data and come up with new and exciting applications.
Exactly. And it creates a network effect where the value of their platform increases as more developers build applications on it.
Right.
The more developers who use their data, the more valuable that data becomes.
And it fosters a culture of innovation,
Yeah.
allowing them to tap into the creativity and expertise of a wider community.
Right.
They're essentially turning their data into a platform for others to build upon.
It's a win-win-win scenario.
Yeah.
Planet Labs benefits from increased data usage and platform adoption. Developers gain access to a valuable data source and a platform for reaching a wider audience.
Right.
And the world benefits from a wider range of innovative solutions built on Earth observation data.
It's a powerful example of how collaboration and open platforms can drive both business success and positive social impact.
It's a model that's working well in other industries. And Planet Labs is showing how it can be applied to the world of Earth observation data.
Now let's turn our attention to one of the most critical aspects of Planet Labs' business, their satellite fleet.
All right?
This is the backbone of their operation,
Right.
the source of the valuable data that drives their revenue and impact.
And it's a fleet unlike any other,
Yeah.
with hundreds of satellites in orbit.
Wow.
They have the largest Earth observation constellation in history.
It's like having eyes in the sky,
It is.
constantly watching over our planet
Yeah,
and capturing its every move. It's an incredible technological achievement.
absolutely. And it's a testament to their innovative approach to satellite design and manufacturing.
Yeah.
They've pioneered the use of small, low-cost satellites that can be launched in large numbers,
Right.
providing unprecedented coverage and frequency of imaging.
So they're not relying on those big, expensive, traditional satellites.
Right.
They're taking a more agile and cost-effective approach,
Exactly.
which allows them to launch more satellites more frequently.
And that's a key part of their competitive advantage.
Okay.
They can provide more frequent and up-to-date imagery than their competitors,
Yeah.
which is crucial for many applications.
Now let's talk about some of the specific challenges they face in managing and maintaining this massive satellite fleet.
Okay.
Coordinating the launch operation and data downlink of hundreds of satellites is a complex logistical feat.
It is. It's like conducting an orchestra in space.
And they have to contend with the harsh environment of space,
Yeah.
where their satellites are exposed to radiation, micrometeoroids, and other hazards. It's a constant battle to keep those satellites healthy and functioning properly.
Yeah, it is.
But it's not just about launching the satellites.
Right.
It's about keeping them operational and making sure they're sending back high-quality data.
Yeah.
The 247 job, isn't it?
Absolutely. They've had to develop sophisticated systems for monitoring the health of their satellites, managing their orbits, and ensuring the quality of their data. It's a testament to their engineering ingenuity and their commitment to providing reliable and accurate data.
Now let's shift our focus to another critical aspect of their business data processing and analysis.
Okay.
After all, collecting data is only the first step.
Right.
They need to turn that raw data into meaningful insights that customers can use to make better decisions.
And that's where their sophisticated data processing and analysis capabilities come in.
Okay?
They've built a world-class team of data scientists, engineers, and software developers who are constantly innovating and improving their data processing pipelines.
So it's not just about having the data. It's
Mhm.
about making sense of it
Yeah.
and turning it into something useful.
Yeah.
It's like taking a giant jigsaw puzzle and putting it together to reveal the bigger picture.
Exactly, and they're using cutting-edge technologies like machine learning and artificial intelligence to automate many of the tasks involved in processing, analyzing, and visualizing their vast. To automate many of the tasks involved in processing, analyzing, and visualizing their vast amounts of data, this allows them to extract valuable insights, identify patterns and trends, and create customized data products that meet the specific needs of their diverse customer base.
So they're harnessing the power of AI to make sense of all that data and turn it into something actionable.
Exactly, and it's a key part of their value proposition. They're not just selling data, they're selling insights that can help customers solve problems, make better decisions, and achieve their goals.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here, from their satellite fleet to their data processing capabilities to their innovative business model. Now let's talk about one of the most intriguing aspects of Planet Labs' business, the ethical considerations surrounding their data. They have access to a vast and constantly updating database of images of our planet, raising questions about privacy, surveillance, and the potential for misuse of this information.
It's a topic that they're acutely aware of, and they've been proactive in addressing these concerns head on. They've developed a comprehensive set of ethical guidelines and data privacy policies to ensure that their data is used responsibly and ethically.
So they're not just focused on the technology and the business aspects.
Yeah.
They're also thinking about the bigger picture and the potential impact of their data on society.
Exactly. They're recognizing that with great power comes great responsibility. They've got a powerful tool in their hands, and they want to make sure it's used for good.
Now let's talk about some of the specific measures they've taken to address these ethical concerns. What are they doing to ensure their data isn't misused?
Well, for starters, they've implemented strict access controls to ensure that only authorized users can access their data. They're not just giving away the keys to the kingdom, they're carefully vetting who gets access to their data and for what purposes.
So they're taking a cautious approach, making sure their data doesn't fall into the wrong hands.
Okay.
What else are they doing?
They've also put in place safeguards to prevent the misuse of their imagery for purposes like surveillance or targeting. They don't want their data to be used to spy on people or violate their privacy.
So they're being proactive in preventing their technology from being used for nefarious purposes. It's good to see they're thinking about these things and taking steps to address them.
Absolutely. And they've been transparent about their data collection practices, publishing detailed information about the types of data they collect, how they collect it, and how they use it.
So they're not trying to hide anything. They're being upfront with the public about what they're doing and why that's a good sign of responsible data stewardship.
Exactly. And they've established a process for responding to concerns about data privacy and potential misuse, ensuring that they're accountable to their customers, stakeholders, and the wider public.
So they're not just setting up these policies and then forgetting about them. They're actively monitoring how their data is being used and are prepared to address any concerns that may arise.
Exactly. They're taking a proactive and responsible approach to data ethics, which is essential in a field like this.
Now let's zoom out for a moment and consider the broader landscape of the Earth observation industry. Planet Labs is not alone in this space. There are other companies out there with their own constellations of satellites and their own data processing capabilities. It's a competitive market and one that's only going to get more crowded in the years to come. So how does Planet Labs stand out from the competition? What are their key differentiators?
Well, one key differentiator is the sheer scale of their satellite fleet, with hundreds of satellites in orbit. They have a significant advantage in terms of coverage and frequency of imaging.
Yeah.
They can image the entire Earth's landmass every single day, which is something that no other company can match. And that frequency of imaging is crucial for many applications, especially those that require real-time or near real-time monitoring.
So they're winning the space race in terms of coverage and frequency. They've got the most eyes in the sky, so to speak.
Yeah.
What else sets them apart?
Another key differentiator is their focus on providing not just raw data, but also insights and analytics. They're investing heavily in developing machine learning algorithms and data visualization tools that can turn raw data into actionable information. They're making it easier for customers to extract value from their data and integrate it into their existing workflows, which is a major selling point. They're not just selling data, they're selling solutions.
So they're not just giving you the ingredients, they're helping you bake the cake. They're providing the tools and insights that make their data truly valuable.
Exactly. And they're constantly innovating, developing new data products and analytical capabilities that push the boundaries of what's possible with Earth observation data.
So they're not content with just staying in their lane. They're constantly pushing the envelope, coming up with new and creative ways to use their data to solve problems and create value.
Exactly. They're a dynamic and innovative company, and it will be interesting to see what they come up with next.
Now let's talk about some of the specific applications of Planet Labs data. Who are their customers, and how are they using this information to solve problems and achieve their goals? Their customer base is incredibly diverse, spanning a wide range of industries, from agriculture and forestry to energy and finance to government and defense.
It's truly a global and multifaceted data set with the potential to transform how we understand and manage our planet. Their customers are using this data to make better decisions, optimize their operations, and address some of the most pressing challenges facing our world.
Let's dive into some specific examples. How are farmers using their data?
Farmers are using Planet Labs data to monitor crop health, optimize irrigation, and increase yields. They can track the growth of their crops, identify areas that need more water or fertilizer, and even predict harvest times with greater accuracy.
So they're using this data to make their farms more efficient and productive. That's great news for farmers and for the world's food supply.
Mm.
How about foresters? How are they using this data?
Foresters are using it to track deforestation, manage timber resources, and protect biodiversity. They can monitor the health of forests, identify areas that are at risk of deforestation, and track the progress of reforestation efforts.
So they're using this data to help protect our forests and the vital ecosystems they support. What about energy companies? How are they using it?
Energy companies are using Planet's data to monitor pipelines, assess renewable energy potential, and plan infrastructure projects. They can track the condition of their pipelines, identify potential leaks or damage, and assess the suitability of different locations for solar or wind farms.
So they're using this data to make their operations safer, more efficient, and more sustainable. And how about financial institutions? What are they doing with this data?
Financial institutions are using it to assess risk-track commodity prices and make investment decisions. They can monitor things like shipping traffic construction activity and even car counts in parking lots to get a real-time pulse on economic activity. It's like having an X-ray vision into the global economy.
That's incredible. It sounds like their data is being used in ways I never would have imagined. It's really changing how we see and understand the world around us.
And let's not forget about government agencies.
Yeah.
They're using this data for everything from disaster response and humanitarian aid to environmental monitoring and national security.
It's a truly powerful tool for good, isn't it?
Right.
It's helping us to respond to crises more effectively, protect our environment, and keep our communities safe.
Exactly. It's an incredible example of how technology can be used to make a positive impact on the world.
Now let's talk about some of the most exciting and inspiring examples of how Planet Labs data is being used to make a difference. I know you've got some favorites.
One that always stands out is their work with organizations like Global Forest Watch. They use Planet's data to track deforestation in real time and hold companies and governments accountable for their environmental practices.
So they're not just collecting data, they're using it to drive real change. It's like having a watchdog in the sky, keeping an eye on our forests and making sure they're protected.
Exactly. Their data has been instrumental in exposing illegal logging operations, identifying areas of high deforestation risk, and supporting efforts to protect and restore forests around the world.
That's incredible. What other inspiring examples come to mind?
Another one I love is their work with the Jane Goodall Institute. They use Planet's data to monitor chimpanzee habitats, track poaching activities, and support conservation efforts in Africa.
So they're helping to protect one of our closest living relatives in the wild. That's amazing.
Their data is providing valuable insights into the behavior and movements of chimpanzees, helping researchers to better understand their needs and develop more effective conservation strategies.
It's like they're giving a voice to the voiceless, using technology to speak up for those who can't speak for themselves.
And their data is being used by organizations like the World Resources Institute to track water resources, monitor drought conditions, and support efforts to ensure access to clean water in water-stressed regions around the world.
It's truly inspiring to see how Planet Labs is partnering with organizations around the world to tackle some of the most pressing challenges facing our planet. It gives you hope that we can find solutions to these problems if we work together and use technology wisely.
I completely agree.
Well, that brings us to the end of our deep dive into Planet Labs. We've covered a lot of ground today, from their fascinating technology and innovative business model to their ambitious plans for the future and the inspiring ways they're using their data to make a positive impact on the world. It's been an incredible journey, and I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have. But as always, we like to leave you with something to ponder. So here's a question for you. How do you think this kind of technology will shape our future? How will it change the way we live, work, and interact with our planet?
It's a question worth contemplating. This is just the beginning of the Earth observation revolution, and the possibilities are truly endless.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Planet Labs PBC. We'll see you next time for another fascinating exploration of a company that's making a difference.